5 forbidden places you're not allowed to visit. The allure of the forbidden is great, so much so that people go to great lengths just to do what is not allowed, oftentimes to their own detriment. Today, we will be looking at 5 forbidden places you are not allowed to visit. Make sure you stick around for number 1, as I'm certain that even if you are the bravest of the brave, you wouldn't even think about setting foot there. Number 5. Snake Island, Brazil. Imagine an entire island where no other creature lives but snakes. Not just any snakes, mind you, but one of the most poisonous vipers that have ever walked this earth, or slithered. For some people, this is what nightmares are made of. What if I told you that such an island does exist? Would you be so brave enough to set foot on it? The Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island, off the coast of Brazil, is an island so dangerous that the Brazilian authorities have made it illegal for anybody to even approach it without authorization. And with good reason. The island is home to the largest concentrated population of one of the most venomous snakes in the world, the golden lancehead viper. Lanceheads are not very large snakes, growing to an average of just 1.5 feet long, but they pack quite a punch. Any human bitten by them could be dead within an hour, if not administered with the proper antivenom. The island is so densely packed, it is estimated that there are anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 lanceheads living there at any given time. Legends and mystery surrounds this island. Local legend has it that the last fisherman that came too close to this island was found days later, adrift in his own boat, dead and covered in his own blood. It's uninhabited now, but people have been living there since as early as the late 1920s. Another legend tells the story of a poor lighthouse keeper and his family who were killed by the vipers, which were able to slither into the lighthouse through a crack on the window. The lighthouse still exists on the island and is still operational and now fully automated, only visited by the Brazilian Navy on occasion to do some maintenance work. Only them, and the occasional scientific study, are the only people allowed to visit the island. Clearly a way to make sure that casualties from snake bites are kept to a minimum. Local people believe that the lanceheads were introduced to the island by pirates to guard a hoard of treasure that was left there. These slithering deterrents are so effective that it's believed that the treasure is still there, its original owners unable to retrieve it because of the snakes that they themselves left there to protect it. Number 4. Surtsey Island, Scotland. With all of the human race's collective knowledge about everything around us, what we know on how the Earth's landmass is formed is based on mostly scientific guesses and speculation, mainly because such an event can't be readily observed by scientists. That's why on the 14th of November, 1963, when such an opportunity came, scientists all over the world united in order to make sure that this momentous event was unsullied by human interference. On the aforementioned date, a cloud of steam and ash suddenly burst forth from the middle of the North Atlantic. It continued to erupt, and 3.5 years later, a new island was formed just 20 feet off the coast of Iceland. And with it came the opportunity to observe an event that may not have a chance again to do so: the birth of an island. The fledgling landmass was aptly named Surtsey, after a fire giant from Norse mythology. Presently, Surtsey Island is the Earth's youngest landmass, and is possibly the only one fortunate enough to be left untouched by humans. The birth of this island presents scientists with the rare opportunity to answer quite a few of life's unanswered questions, like how would life naturally find its way to the island, and which form of life would be the first to arrive? How would the elements shape the island? Given this fact, it's quite understandable that human access to the island is strictly regulated, with permission granted to a handful of scientists by the Icelandic authorities. Even with this in place, those people allowed to visit the island should still have to strictly follow a set of very specific rules. For instance, all equipment to be used on the island must be airlifted. No uncooked food should be set foot on the island. Stay only in a pre-designated area and stick to established paths, and strictly not allowed to venture into other areas of the island. Great care is especially made to prevent the introduction of foreign plants and animals to the island, as the introduction of a single seed may shatter the scientist's years' worth of work. So, if you think you'll be able to take a leisurely vacation to the island soon, you better think again. Number 3. The Vatican Archives. The Holy See has always been shrouded in mystery, and has always been at the sights of people who are wondering about the secrets that lie within its holy walls. Thousands have claimed that the Pope has information, and even evidence to some of the greatest mysteries in the world. For the existence of aliens and demons to be the deepest, darkest secrets of the world's biggest religions, conspiracy theorists have long speculated what is kept secret in the Vatican's deep catacombs. Is there a single thread of truth behind all these speculations? Only a few people know. But not everything that is in the Archivum Secretum, Latin for the secret archives, is a complete mystery. Especially in recent years, the current Pope has been very open of what things are stored in the archives. It has been revealed that the Vatican Archives is home to some of the rarest and most historical items in existence, which includes a 60-meter-long scroll of parchment containing the minutes of the infamous trial of the Knights Templar, a letter penned by the Pope Leo X, excommunicating Martin Luther, a letter to the Pope from Mary Queen of Scots imploring him to intervene and stop her execution, which was obviously denied, and letters from Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis, both non-Catholics, representing both sides of the Civil War, each asking for Pope Pius XI's support in the war. Even during these times of relative transparency from the Vatican, access to the archives is strictly regulated. Various scholars in religion and history have asked permission to be granted access into the vaults, but only a few of them have been granted limited access, which actually begs the question, what other secrets are the Vatican hiding? The secret Gospels, perhaps? Which are rumored to be deleted books from the Bible that shows that Jesus wasn't divine and his current status only due to the whims of a few men? The location of the Holy Grail, arguably the single most prolific artifact in Christian history? Or is the Holy Grail itself already kept in the archives? Unfortunately, the answer to all these questions are only known by a select few. And with the current exclusivity of access to the Vatican archives, it's looking like the answers to most of our questions won't be revealed anytime soon. Number 2. Yucca Mountain Respiratory. More of a ridge than a mountain, Yucca Mountain is located on the southern part of Nevada. It looks unassuming and quite unremarkable, yet it holds a dark and potentially deadly secret. Deep within the mountain are 2 man-made tunnels, one U-shaped and the other straight, at the end of which still lies the boar that dug it, looking very abandoned and ominous. The tunnels lie empty for the moment, unsure whether or not it'll fulfill its purpose it was originally made for. What is that purpose, you might ask? It's where the US government plans to store its high-level nuclear waste, or HLWs, for the next 10,000 years. It's designed to hold up to 125,000 metric tons of HLWs. The Yucca Mountain was chosen for this due to a couple of reasons. One being its remoteness. The Yucca Mountain and its immediate area are almost devoid of life. More importantly, it lies 1,000 feet above the local geologic water table, minimizing the risk of highly toxic materials contaminating the groundwater. As of the moment, the project looks like it's abandoned, but in actuality, the US Department of Energy is still operating in the area. The project was started way back in 2002, but President Obama put a halt to it in 2009. But he did not completely scrap the project. The possibility of this place to be used as a storage facility for HLWs is still on the horizon. Compared to the other entries on this list, it's relatively easy for a person to visit the site, whether on purpose or by accident. However, a visit to this place might cause you your freedom, or even your life. For some reason, the government is keeping a tight security around the area, almost as if they were hiding something. People who might come by across this area might be accosted and jailed, or even shot on sight.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Poveglia Island, Italy. If there's one place in the world that you wouldn't want to visit, even if you're allowed to, It's probably this one. Poveglia Island, located less than half a mile from Venice, has such a dark and twisted history, even the locals refuse to go near it, much less set foot on it. Legends of ghosts and demons that inhabit the island are prevalent, and basing on the island's dark history, some of these legends may prove to be true. Poveglia Island started its life as a fortification built by the Venetian government, but soon after became a quarantine section for victims of the bubonic plague, or Black Death, from 1793 to 1841. It has been reported that this tiny island was home to up to 160,000 people infected with the plague, all of which died helplessly on the island. Legends of 24-hour funeral pyres abound, as the keepers of the island continually buried the bodies of the deceased, trying desperately for the disease not to spread to the mainland. It has also been said that 50% of the soil that makes up Poveglia is made from human ash and bone, but the island's dark history doesn't stop here. In 1922, a mental institution was built on Poveglia, replacing the plague victims with the mentally ill. But instead of this being an institution to help the less fortunate, local legend says what happened was completely the opposite. It is said that one doctor brutally tortured and killed a number of his patients, butchering them in unspeakable manners. The doctor himself fell victim to the same patients that he murdered, as it is said that the spirits of the dead constantly haunted the doctor, up to the point when he climbed up a bell tower and jumped to his own death. Prior to Poveglia being restricted from public access, many people have dared to visit the island, even daring to spend the night. There is a story of a film crew who was shooting a movie there. On their first night on the island, it's said that they were tormented by the evil spirits that dwelled there, up to the point that they were shouting from the coast at passing boats, begging to be rescued. The island is now off limits to the general public. The only way for the Venetian authorities to make sure that what dwells on the island stays there and avoid having them come in contact with the living. Which place are you brave enough to visit? Let us know in the comments section below. Want more videos that appeal to the adventurer in you? Then click on one of the videos on screen. As always, thanks for watching.